Certainly an interesting comment from, Paul Finebaum earlier this week when he compared Stetson Bennett to Tom Brady. Just because of the winning, essentially. I mean, Georgia has gone a long way with Stetson being their guy and being able to accomplish what they accomplished because he's made some really big plays in big moments. And, Paul clearly covers the league in a way that is more, 4 feet than 40,000 feet, like a lot of the folks that are in broadcasting. But Stetson is really not a polarizing figure. The quarterback at any school is a polarizing figure because they always want, the fan base always wants that person to be and play exceptionally. And, Tom Brady is very disliked by a lot of folks. I don't care. I'm not an NFL person. It doesn't matter to me. I think his longevity has been amazing. There's no doubt he's a Hall of Famer. A lot of people have pushed back on my comment about Stetson Bennett's going to be in the College Football Hall of Fame. Listen, because of the rules. Listen, if that guy wins 2 national championships, I can assure you that there will be some adjustments made to the College Football Hall of Fame rules. Okay? As it stands right now, Mike Leach can't get in to the College Football Hall of Fame, as the way I understand it. So, if you don't get a guy who has started and won 2 national championships for a team, if that's not a Hall of Fame college career, I don't know what a Hall of Fame career is. Now, he's not done it yet, but, when Paul talks about Brady, Stetson, the similarities are that they make big plays. They make plays in big moments, right? You could argue. Now, I don't follow Brady a ton. I mean, maybe Eli Manning is the better comparison because, Eli really showed up in huge moments for the Giants in those games against Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady, the only guy that he didn't beat in the Super Bowl twice was Eli. I can't remember the other losses that the Patriots have eaten, but it's not been a lot of them. And what is he, like 6-4, something like that in championship games? It's not called championship games, it's called Super Bowl. Make sure you're checking out our newsletter. The link is down below. You're cheating yourself. If you don't, it takes a second to sign up. You just plug your email in there, and it's free. You get it every day about 2 o'clock. But you're missing too much stuff. See, you're listening to us ramble on. You can read us. It's easier. You don't have to have the volume up, right? So get all of it. Get all of Dog Post. Make sure you're signing up for our newsletter. But yeah, I mean, the thing about Stetson that's different than other folks is obviously the story is amazing, and the story of his time at Georgia, leaving Georgia, coming back, and then Todd Monken kind of, after a while, Todd and Kirby have both said how, they kept trying to run Stetson off. They couldn't figure out how to run him off. Run him off is the wrong way. They could. Well, I think that sort of terminology has been used, but they couldn't figure out how to not play him. He made himself indispensable, which is really, really important as a football player, particularly as a starting quarterback. But after that adventurous 2020 season, and even in that season, if you think about it, he came in and chilled everybody out for Arkansas, and then he comes in against Auburn and really did play well against Auburn in that game. A week later with Tennessee, then he started trying sometimes to do a little bit much. There was some hero ball here and there, but they gave away a touchdown. Kirby went for it on 4th and short from his own, 20-something. There were some situations there that were not well played by Georgia, whether you're talking about Kirby or the snap being too high, stuff like that. But, they take care of Tennessee. A week later, Stetson tried to do too much against Alabama at times. I mean, but you could see flashes of what he could do in that game. If the spin around at the Auburn game wasn't enough, if the run to the pylon against Arkansas wasn't enough, there were some things in the Alabama game, like the throw to James Cook, the identification of James Cook in that play. But then there were also some sort of not good plays, like not being able to hit. I think it was Darnell who was wide open in the end zone. So it was a growing pattern. I mean, think of that as Stetson's sort of sophomore year. He really didn't play much in 17. Obviously, he didn't play at all in 17. 18, it wasn't, he was gone. And then in 19, he was Fromm's backup and played here and there, just throwing a pick six in one situation, throwing a lot. I mean, they developed Stetson. And over time, we got to see in 21, this guy can do stuff in the clutch. When you think about the doubts before the Michigan game, and then how well he played in that game, if he plays like that against TCU, they have no chance to win. If Stetson plays like he did against Michigan, Oregon, South Carolina, I'm just trying to think of some other games. Auburn, he's really played well against Auburn. Tennessee. If he plays like he does in those games, TCU doesn't have a chance to win. This is really about how is Georgia going to play? If they play the same way that they did against Ohio State, then they have a chance of losing, for sure. That's where you fall into the danger zone, for lack of a better term. God bless Kenny Rogers. Or not Kenny Rogers. Golly. See, I don't edit, and it's Kenny Loggins. Goodness. But highway to the danger zone. So I think that's the question, is how does this team hone in on some stuff? There were plays against Ohio State, like handing it off to Kenny rather than keeping it. Kenny just falling down on one play and not scoring a touchdown. There were a lot of explosive plays that were there for Georgia against Ohio State. There's going to be a lot of them against TCU. TCU plays a little bit more like permitting big plays than Ohio State did. And you saw Georgia score 42 with two missed field goals. They totally could have scored 48, 50 points on Ohio State. Well, if they can do that to them, what are they going to do to TCU, right? So, TCU, though, the problem there is those guys make a lot of plays themselves. They get you into trouble with their defense. 2 pick sixes against Michigan. The goal line stand, well, it wasn't a stand so much as they just recovered a fumble. That was a big deal in that game. You're talking about 21-point swing right there. 14 against you and 7 that you don't score. So, Georgia needs to take care of the football, which involves Stetson. And there might not be Tom Brady moments in this game, but the way that Stetson closed the game is what Paul's talking about. 190 yards in the fourth quarter. I mean, it was just... I thought when Ohio State did not score a touchdown and kicked a field goal to go up 6, I immediately thought Georgia would come down and score a touchdown. I didn't know if they'd come down and win the game. As it turns out, they did. Not without some drama. But they came down and got it done. Stetson left too much time on the clock. But other than that, I also understand, hey, let's just score. But anymore in any sort of form of football, whether you're talking about with Tom Brady or Stetson or whoever, you got to be cognizant of everything that's around you in terms of the clock and all that stuff. So they did go too fast, but they won the game. And, Georgia, I just find it hard to believe they're going to play poorly two weeks in a row. I just find it hard to believe, and I think Stetson's a lot of part of that. I mean, they are the better team here, and they just need to close. And it's hard to win national championships. It just is. But winning 2, particularly with the same quarterback, it's just so rare. And, you know, I also understand, hey, let's just score. But anymore in any sort of form of football, whether you're talking about with Tom Brady or Stetson or whoever, you got to be cognizant of everything that's around you in terms of the clock and all that stuff. So they did go too fast, but they won the game. And, Georgia, I just A.J. McCarron is the only one I can think about because I don't even think the guys at Nebraska were the same quarterbacks. Now, SC with Matt Leinart, yes. So you're telling me that guy's not going to get in the Hall of Fame? Come on.